Imagine the horror of you showing up to a gig. It's at a new place, you're really excited because it pays well. You brought your own speakers, but they say you'll need to run into house sound because you're gonna set up over here. But I'm a new manager, so I really don't know how that works. You look at the plugs in the wall and you go, oh no, I do not have that. Start to panic, look at your phone. Closest music store is 45 minutes away and you're starting in 1 hour. Depending on the type of person you are, you might blame the person who booked you for not saying there was an RCA style plug in the wall that you have to run into. And that setup happens to be 10 feet further than your cable even reaches, even if you have the right cable. But before this happens, and if you play enough gigs at new spots, eventually it will. Let's figure out how to keep your composure and Rambo this setup so you don't sully your reputation with this manager who doesn't understand how all this works, but the guy last week did great. Okay, now after 14 years being a full-time musician, I would be that guy from last week that did great, because I learned the hard way first. Please hit that like and subscribe, and let's save your future self. Look at these beauties. That might just look like spaghetti to you, but what we got is a box full of adapters. These aren't just any adapters right here, but they can make any of the cables that you do have become multi-purpose. There are nuances to any of these particular adapters, so please do your own research. So the main plug-in types for a venue are XLR, 1/4 inch, auxiliary, and RCA. In order to make sure you never can't figure out how to plug your sound into an input or receive it from a source, you need to make sure that you have adapters that can go male to female on any of these different main types of plugs. And adapters are the smallest, most portable ways to do this. I'm gonna put my Amazon link in the description and the cards up above, and it supports my channel if you end up buying any of these products. So this cable right here is my ability to send an RCA signal super far because it runs RCA stereo into 1/4 inch stereo. And then I even have a Y cable that can turn this stereo 1/4 inch into a single stereo 1/4 inch input. So if it's into a headphone jack, it will send out the stereo through the RCA like that. Now say that this thing happens to be 20 feet away and all I got is one extra 1/4 inch instrument cable and one extra XLR microphone cable. Pro tip, you should always bring more than one of any cable that you need just in case if one of them goes bad. And in the event that you have to run cables further than you planned on it, because in this instance where I'm running an RCA to a super far source, I'm gonna look through my adapters right here and I'm gonna find the 1/4 inch extension. So I'm gonna run one side into this and then I'm gonna be able to use my 1/4 inch cable to extend it even further. Oh man, I still had 5 feet left to go. What am I gonna do? Well, guess what? I'm gonna take this adapter right here, which is a female to a male XLR output. And then I'm gonna run that into this XLR cable here that I had extra because I had a backup microphone cable. So now I got like 30 feet of cable right here and I can easily reach my RCA port. That brings me to another pro tip. If you're gonna run cables super far, somebody could trip on it. And so to protect yourself from that liability, Gaffers tape is like the duct tape for musicians that's only temporary, and I use this stuff all the time. It's very professional to have. If you do not carry Gaffers tape with you, you need to have it with you. If you need to run a power cord, always a great idea. Any cables through walkways. I never like to let the Gaffers tape fully wrap around a cable though, because it's hard to get apart, so just keep note of that. Another pro tip, since I'm a guitarist, I bought these wireless transmitters for my guitar from Sennheiser, and I absolutely love them. They work great. But in the instance that I'm playing an event and they want one speaker to be all the way on the other side of the room, or even one room over, if I didn't know this in advance, I have the ability to use my extra 1/4 inch cable for my guitar instead of running my wireless, and then use my guitar ports to send one out from my mixer into the speaker that's on the other side of the room. I know my speaker accepts 1/4 inch, so this is great. If you're not gonna use wireless, I'd probably suggest the XLR version of these, because then you have a wireless microphone if, say, somebody's giving toasts, if you do weddings, or you feel like having a wireless mic. I've just found that if you have to run from a 1/4 inch one of these into an XLR, like say I were to do that to make it work, I don't think there's enough gain in this to make it work for like running a microphone wirelessly from one of these things. However, I do find that just sending a line output works great. And that'll also save you some money on Gaffers tape if you're running stuff wirelessly. Another pro tip is if you're going to run music from an iPad or an iPhone into a mixer port, a lot of times your source is gonna be stereo. So if you notice, if you just plug a regular 1/4 inch to aux into the mixer, it sounds like poop. That's because most cables don't change it from a stereo signal, which you'd put the dongle here for an iPhone, and it would send it into a stereo type output right here. But this one you'll notice only has one ring. That's because this cable, which I'll put in the description, also this card up here, sends your stereo input into a single mono output of that stereo signal. That being said, you also want to make sure you have the right dongle and maybe an extra one for a lightning port. Say if one of your clients says, I really want to play this song out of my phone, you have both input types. Any other cables like this one's a USB-C to an Android micro USB style plug. Anything like that charging on a random piece of equipment you might have. It's always good to have every little connector chilling somewhere you could get it if you needed to at a gig. That includes the power blocks to go with it. And then right here, super clutch, your auxiliary to 1/4 inch. A lot of times RCA style cables will have an aux at the end of them, so you could do this to make it a 1/4 inch. So yeah, any cables that you have, find a way to make them shape shifters to those 4 mainstream input types so that you are never left high and dry at a gig far from home. Thanks again for watching today. I'm gonna build a centipede out of this really quick, just for fun, but please hit that like and subscribe. Check out one of these other videos if you'd like to, and I'm wishing you the best on your journey.